Hello everyone, this is part 3 of What If Naruto Was Trained by Anko, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like and subscribe. To see more, comment down below. Now let's start the
Naruto was eager to get the test started. There was no way he would fail this time. He had done everything in order to pass. Iruka entered the room and was talking about the test. The test was always in 3 parts: a written exam, a physical exam, and the jutsu exam. Naruto felt that he could do well on each part, especially the written part since he was tutored by Hinata. Iruka and Mizuki began to hand the papers out. The exam had just begun. Naruto stood in front of Iruka and Mizuki. He was a little nervous, but he knew that he did well. The written exam was a little hard, but he knew that he got a passable grade on the test. He excelled in the physical exam, beating out Sasuke in endurance, accuracy, and stealth. Now, it was the jutsu portion of the test. Knowing the 2 in front of him, they would ask him to do the bunshin, clone, jutsu. It was his worst jutsu after all. Okay, Naruto, this is the final part. All we need for you to do at least 3 perfect bunshin and you have passed. Iruka said. Naruto cracked his knuckles and grinned. Boy, were they in for a surprise. Bunshin no jutsu. Clone technique, Naruto called out. There was a cloud of smoke. When it disappeared, standing in front of the 2 was 10 perfect bunshin. Iruka was surprised and happy for Naruto. That was great, Naruto, but you didn't have to go so far. Iruka said. Sorry about that, but because of my high and dense chakra, this is the amount I got it down to. I could make over 1,000 with half my chakra. Naruto said. That surprised both instructors. Either way, you have passed the exam. Come and get your Hitai 8, forehead protector. Iruka said. Naruto cheered and took his Hitai 8. He gave a hug to Iruka and ran out the room cheering loudly. Neither one of them saw the narrowed eyes of Mizuki. Naruto walked out of the academy in triumph. He proudly wore his Hitai 8 for all to see. Some looked at the blonde with annoyance, others with malice. Naruto could hear the whispers of some. They were negative and hateful. Still, it did not ruin his mood. He passed with help from his Oni-san, his best friends and his favorite teacher. They believed in him and he did not let him down. He only wished that Anko was here to celebrate with him. He decided to get some Ichirakus ramen to celebrate. As he left the yard, he held his Hitai 8 up for his doubters. It may have been a mocking gesture to everyone, but he didn't care. His time with Anko showed him that all he needed were those few precious people to keep him going. He jogged out of the yard and dashed toward Ichirakus. Stomach full and happy, Naruto made his way home. The owners, Chuchi and his daughter, Ayami, celebrated his graduation with 10 bowls of free ramen. Naruto enjoyed them with gusto and thanked the 2 for their support. He looked up at the sun and saw that it was beginning to set. He wondered what he could do now. Hey Naruto, a voice called out to him. Naruto looked to see Mizuki-sensei running up to him. Mizuki wasn't someone he trusted completely. He always felt that he was out to get him. He had no proof of that, but his gut always told him that he was bad news. Naruto always trusted his gut. Mizuki stood in front of Naruto. It's a good thing I caught you. I have something to tell you. What's up? Naruto asked. Well, I just found out that you're going to be placed on a team with Sakura and Sasuke. Mizuki said. What? That can't be right. There's no dead last this year, Naruto exclaimed. I know, but this was the team that the Hokage assigned. However, I have a way that you can get on another team, probably with Hinata and Shikamaru. Mizuki said. Really? Naruto asked with excitement. What would I have to do? Mizuki gave him a friendly smile while on the inside, his smile was much more sinister. Anko was walking toward the Hokage Tower. While the mission was annoying, she was able to finish ahead of time. She didn't really rest as she wanted to surprise Naruto by her arrival. While she could not be there to see him graduate, she would be there to celebrate his success. Heck, she might even let him have a cup or 2 of sake. As she walked, she saw a weapon shop. She began to think and decided to get Naruto a graduation gift. As she was about to enter the shop, she noticed that some shinobi were going nuts. She saw two that she knew and stopped them. Azumo, Kotetsu, what's going on? Are we under attack or something? Anko asked. No, but we do have an emergency. Look, Anko, do you know where Naruto is? Kotetsu asked. Naruto, what does he have to do with this? Anko asked. Anko, Naruto has stolen the Fuin no Sho, scroll of seals. Azumo said. Anko looked at him like he was crazy. There's no way. Naruto may have a tendency to do something stupid, but he's not that stupid, Anko exclaimed. We agree with you, but he was seen with the scroll. It could be someone trying to frame him, but we can't be sure until we find him. Kotetsu said. Oh, I'll find him and I'll get to the bottom of this. Anko said and took off to find Naruto. Naruto was hidden behind a tree. He was trying to calm his breathing so that he would not be found by Mizuki or Iruka. Naruto knew that he had messed up big time. He couldn't believe how stupid he was for stealing such an important scroll. Sure, he got a very powerful jutsu out of the scroll, but now he realized that this assignment was nothing more than a trick to place blame on him. He should have thought things through, but he so did not wish to be on Sasuke's and Sakura's team. That wasn't even the biggest thing that he learned tonight. When Iruka and Mizuki arrived and were fighting each other, Mizuki decided to tell Naruto a secret about himself. That secret was that he was the container of the Kyuubi no Yoko, nine-tailed demon fox. He told him that he was murderer and a cause of suffering for Konoha, including Iruka. Naruto couldn't take it and ran. As he sat there, he was suddenly alert when he heard a body hit the ground. He looked out from his hiding spot to see a wounded Iruka. Landing across from him was a wounded Mizuki. The traitorous shinobi glared at Iruka. I can't believe that you've lasted this long against me. Mizuki growled. It goes to show you that strength isn't everything. I would give up if I was you. Iruka said. Why should I? I'm going to kill you and then I'm going to kill the demon. Mizuki stated. I will never allow you to harm Naruto. Iruka shouted. How can you protect that thing? The Kyuubi killed your parents. Mizuki spat. Yes, the Kyuubi killed my parents, Iruka said. Naruto felt his heart shatter after he said that. However, Naruto is not the Kyuubi. He is a proud member of Konohagakure and he will grow to be one of the strongest shinobi there is. He is my precious student and I will protect him with my life. That statement made a few tears fall from Naruto's eyes. He was just so happy to hear that Iruka thought of him as one of his precious people. Mizuki looked at Iruka with disgust. You're pathetic. I'm just going to finish this now. Mizuki said. He charged at Iruka, spinning his shuriken like a buzzsaw. Iruka readied himself when his leg gave out on him. Mizuki laughed when he saw this and was on him. That's when a blur appeared and launched Mizuki back a few feet, his shuriken sent flying across the forest. Iruka looked up and saw that the person who saved him was Naruto. Naruto, what are you doing? You need to get out of here, Iruka shouted. Mizuki groaned and rubbed his nose. He looked forward and glared hard at Naruto. You damn brat, I'll gut you open. Mizuki said. The only one who is going to be gutting things open is me. You're going to pay for hurting my sensei and for trying to get me in trouble, Mizuki team, bastard. Naruto stated. Just try it, Kyuubi. You don't have anything that can hurt me, Mizuki shouted. Take this, Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. Shadow clone technique, Naruto shouted. There was a large blast of smoke that appeared. When it cleared, Iruka and Mizuki were in awe. Surrounding the area were over 100 copies of Naruto. Each of them had a menacing grin on their face and cracking their knuckles. I can't believe what I'm seeing. He learned how to do solid clones in the span of 2 hours. What's even more amazing is that he doesn't look winded. Iruka thought with amazement. Mizuki was just too shocked to say anything. So, you've got nothing to say? Alright then, I'll do all the talking with my fists. The clones said and descended of Mizuki. Mizuki could do nothing but scream into the night. After a few minutes, Mizuki laid on the ground in a heap with welts and bruises on his face. The clones were gone and Naruto was rubbed the back of his head. Iruka just looked at his one-time student with amazement. That's when 3 people appeared. Naruto froze in fright at the glare he was getting from one of the people. Hey Anko One-isan, when did you get back? You are the stupidest person I have ever. Anko stopped her rant long enough to see Iruka on the ground bleeding. Oh my god, Iruka. She sped by Naruto, smacking him to the ground, and was at Iruka's side in an instant. Everyone, including Iruka, was shocked as Anko held him and checked him over. Everyone just wondered what the heck was going on. Naruto and Anko stood before the Hokage. He had a stern look on his face as he stared at Naruto. The blonde avoided looking at the man he thought of as a grandfather. He was just so ashamed of his actions and decisions. Normally, I would have dismissed you from the ninja ranks, Naruto. However, you were set up by an authority figure. If you can't trust your authority figures, then who do you trust? Still, you should have read the situation a little better than you did. You could have caused untold problems should the scroll have fell into enemy hands. Hiruzen said. I'm sorry, Hokage-sama. It will not happen again. Naruto said humbly. We will see. Now, about the Kyuubi, Hiruzen said, getting Anko's and Naruto's attention. They looked to see that his expression had softened. I am sorry that you found out this way. I was meaning to tell you about your burden at a later time. Do you know why I was used for the sealing? Naruto asked. Yes, I do, but for now, you will have to wait. You have to realize, Naruto, that there are a lot of things that are tied into you being the container of the Kyuubi no Yoko. Right now, you are still too young to learn about it. Hiruzen explained. Okay, I guess I will wait a bit longer. Naruto said with a pout. Hiruzen smiled at him. Now that we have cleared that up, let's decide how you should be punished. I believe that Anko should decide your punishment since she is partly responsible for your increased stealth. He said with a smile. Naruto looked like he was about to die. He was about to protest when he was hoisted in the air by Anko. She held him in a headlock and had a wicked grin on her face. You don't have to worry about that, sir. I plan on making sure that this never happens again. Anko said. She bid the Hokage a good night before disappearing with Naruto. Hiruzen just chuckled and hoped that Naruto survived his punishment. Mizuki was tied down to a chair. He growled and tried to free himself, but he couldn't. He cursed Iruka and the Kyuubi brat for his failure. If it took the rest of his life, he would make them both pay. The door suddenly opened and entered the room was Marino Ibiki, head of the Konoha Gamon, Jinman Butai, Konoha's torture and interrogation force. Mizuki cursed and shook with fear as he looked upon this man. No one ever wanted to be caught and sent to him. Ibiki looked at Mizuki and gave him a smile. Don't worry, Mizuki, I'm not the one who will be doing the interrogation. I'm not really into small fry like you. I'm just here to give you a chance to come clean about who you work for. Ibiki said and looked at Mizuki. The Chunin looked at him with defiance. Ibiki just smiled at him. Have it your way. He's all yours. Ibiki said before turning to leave. As he left, another person entered. Mizuki saw who it was and grinned. Well, if it isn't the demon's keeper. Are you sure that you should? Mizuki shouted as a kunai was stabbed into his kneecap. Anko grabbed him by the hair and gave his a hard look. Mizuki was deathly afraid of that look. It promised death and untold types of pain. I personally don't care if you tell me anything. You're going to die anyway after breaking an S-rank law. You messed with my family today and I intend to make your journey into the afterlife as painful as possible. Get ready, traitor, the night is just getting started. She said and pulled out several senbon. Mizuki's screams could be heard throughout the building and they would not stop for the entire night. Chapter 6 Naruto sighed as he entered the academy for the last time. It had been a long 3 days for the blonde. Since the Mizuki incident, Naruto was kept awake, thinking about what he learned. He would look down at his stomach at times and wonder how the Yondawa put something so big in his gut. After a while, he went back to Anko's way of thinking. Who cared if he had the beast of destruction sealed within him? The old man didn't care, Anko didn't care, and the two people at the ramen stand didn't care, so why should he? With that thinking, Naruto was able to sleep without any problems. The next day was the day of his punishment by Anko. Like always, she broke into his apartment and dragged him out of bed. She expressed her disappointment him and told him to think before he acted. After an hour-long lecture, Anko took him into an area within Training Ground 44, also called the Forest of Death. She told him that his objective today was to survive. For the whole day, Anko hunted and brutalized him. He managed to survive by escaping the forest and running for safety. This didn't deter Anko, who began to play her favorite game of tag with sharp objects. It was a day of pain for the blonde hero. The next day, Naruto took his picture for his file. Luckily for him, the cuts healed overnight. He took a normal picture, surprising the old Hokage. Naruto simply told him that he was too hurt to make it awesome. That's when an 8-year-old boy busted in the hall. He quickly tripped on his long scarf and fell on his face. The boy stood and then accused him of tripping him. Naruto was about to teach the boy a lesson when he was stopped by his instructor. The little brat boasted about his name, which irritated Naruto. He then proceeded to pin him to the wall with several kunai and told him off before leaving. Later in the day, Naruto caught the kid following him. He introduced himself as Konohamaru and asked to teach his Iruka no Jutsu, sexy technique. Naruto agreed, but for much different reasons. As the training continued, Naruto asked Konohamaru why he attacked his grandfather. He told him why, and Naruto felt for the kid. Still, he felt that he needed to set him straight and told Konohamaru that there were no shortcuts to Hokage. Only through hard work could he reach that level. He also said that he would have to beat him to the seat and informed him that wouldn't happen. They were interrupted by Konohamaru's instructor, Ebisu. Naruto saw the look that he gave him and was not happy by it. After Konohamaru's attempt of the Iruka no Jutsu failed and Ebisu's insulting words, Naruto stepped in. He combined the Cage Bunshin no Jutsu, shadow clone technique, and his Iruka no Jutsu. It was way too much for the instructor, who Naruto saw was a closet pervert. He called this move the Hairmu no Jutsu, harem technique. After seeing this, Konohamaru said that they were now rivals. Naruto just smirked at him. He then got Konohamaru to help him teach Ebisu a lesson. They took him somewhere unknown. The next day, he was found naked, tied to a post, and was marked with words "pervert" all over his body. It was a great few days, but Naruto was ready for his days as a ninja. He sat next to Hinata, who greeted him. The two talked for a while when they heard a commotion coming from the entrance. It was Sakura and Ino arguing about who entered the class first. After a while, Sakura made her way over to Sasuke. This did not sit well with Ino, who attempted to stop her. That's when everyone in the fan club attempted to get the seat. Naruto saw this was the time to cause some mischief. He got on the desk and faced the class. "People, we have ourselves a Sasuke cat fight about to happen. Place your bets on who gets the seat next to Lord Emo." "Do I have any takers?" Naruto asked. "I've got 5 Ryo on Sakura." One guy shouted. "I've have 10 on Ino." Another shouted. 15 on the redhead." Kiba shouted. Naruto just kept taking bets, not knowing that he was now the attention of the Sasuke fan club. They did not enjoy how Naruto made jokes about the object of their affections. Hinata saw this and attempted to warn him, but Naruto wasn't listening. After a while, Naruto stopped taking bets. "Okay, we've got 2-to-1 odds on Ino, 4-to-1 odds on Sakura, and the underdog is the redhead with the ridiculous hairdo," Naruto said out loud. That's when he felt the spike of killer intent and turned to see the group of girls. The redhead looked especially angry at his comment. Everyone held their breath as they wondered what Naruto would do next. Naruto faced the girls. He looked directly at them without fear. "Okay, I know that you're upset, but I have a good reason for what I did. It's because you are all pathetic and easy marks," he said with a grin. "Also, your hairdo is ridiculous." That was all that took before he was attacked by the girls, the redhead reaching him first. Shikamaru raised his head slightly to watch as his friend got pummeled by the enraged girls. He sighed and placed his head down again. He was pretty sure that Naruto would be alright. He'd survived worst. Iruka walked into the classroom 5 minutes later. He saw that Naruto was handing out money and that he looked bruised. He just sighed and didn't even ask, as it was probably the Sasuke fan club that did it. Naruto never really got along with any of them. He called for attention and everyone faced him. "I would like to congratulate you on passing. You have done well and I am proud to call you my comrades. From now on, you are shinobi of Konoha. Uphold the name and protect the village with everything that you got," Iruka said with a smile. "Now, we will be assigning you to teams and a Jonin instructor. So listen up for your names. Team 1, Iruka called out the name of teams 1 through 6. He got to Team 7 and gave out a sigh. He knew that a headache was about to come. Team 7 will consist of Haruno Sakura, Uzumaki Naruto and Uchiha Sasuke. Your instructor is Hitaki Kakashi. Iruka said. Yes, true love conquers all. Suck on that Ino Buta, pig, Sakura cheered. What the hell, man? You're putting me on a team with the Banshee and Lord Emo. I thought you liked me. What did I ever do to you to deserve such a cruel twist of fate? Naruto asked. That'll be enough, Naruto. While there is no dead last this year, you were placed on this team because of your skills. Iruka said. What's that skill? Personality? Naruto asked, making some people snicker. Moving on, Team 8 will consist of Hyuga Hinata, Aburame Shino and Inuzuka Kiba. Your instructor is Yuhi Kurenai. Iruka said. Hinata was happy and sad. Happy that she would be with people she knew, but sad that she wasn't with Naruto. Naruto grumbled about how lucky they were and that he could have used Kurenai's help. Iruka ignored the comments and continued on. Team 10 will consist of Yamanaka Ino, Akamichi Choji and Nara Shikamaru. Your instructor is Sarutobi Asuma. Iruka said. What? Why am I put on a team with the sloth and fatty? Ino shouted. She got a glare from Choji. Hey, never call Choji that word. Besides, he isn't fat. He's big-boned with amazing ninja skills. That's why the ladies love him. Naruto said in Choji's defense. I wasn't talking to you, Uzumaki, Ino exclaimed. When are you not talking? Everyone has been trying to find an off switch to your mouth since the beginning of the academy. Naruto commented. Ino shrieked and lunged at Naruto. Naruto just smirked and replaced himself with the nearest person, which happened to be Kiba. Ino straddled the dog using ninja. While Kiba was miffed at what Naruto did, he could forgive him this one time. Wow, Ino, I didn't know that you liked Kiba like that. Aren't you a little too young for such displays of affection? I don't mind. Kiba said with a smirk. Ino glared at the both of them and was about to unleash her fury when Iruka spoke up. Okay, that's enough. Get back to your seats and Naruto stop causing trouble, he shouted. Ino got off Kiba and stomped back to her seat. Kiba gave Naruto a high five. Iruka just sighed and continued to list the teams. Shikamaru sat with Choji as they listened to Ino rant about how they would be the best team among the others. He just sighed and tuned her out. He turned to see Sasuke eating by himself. He then caught sight of Naruto. He was carrying some buckets of paint with him. That didn't mean anything good when Naruto was involved. I hope that you're not about to paint the Hokage monument again, Naruto. Shikamaru called out to him. Naruto looked up to see him. Oh, hey Shikamaru, how's life with she who never stops speaking? Naruto asked. Don't change the subject, Naruto. What are you plotting? Shikamaru asked. Just leaving my mark on the academy, giving the new students something to see when they enter. Naruto said. He then saw Sasuke and smirked. You should check it out too, Lord Emo. I bet you'll be impressed. I doubt it, Dobi. Sasuke said and went back to his lunch. Hey Uzumaki, leave Sasuke-kun alone, Ino exclaimed. I'm sorry. Did you say something? Naruto asked. Don't you ignore me, Ino said. I'm sorry Ino, but I have to go. Maybe next time we'll talk. Naruto said. Choji, we'll be having that ramen eating contest after you're dismissed. Choji gave him a thumbs up before going back to his chips. Naruto left with the buckets of paint, ignoring Ino's screech of frustration. Sakura sat alone, holding her lunch. She had a sad expression on his face. She had attempted to eat lunch with Sasuke, but it didn't go as planned. As she spoke, they saw Naruto running away from some of the academy instructors. Sakura dissed Naruto and couldn't believe that he was on their team. Sasuke commented that at least he would be useful. He then called her annoying and left. That hurt her when he said that. Suddenly, she heard something and turned her head to see Naruto. He had his jacket tied around his waist and was looking around the area. She noticed some paint on his hands and wondered what he did now. You didn't paint the Hokage monument again, did you, Barker, idiot? Sakura asked. Naruto turned to face her. Well, if it isn't the shallow harpy. I figured that you would be stalking the team, begging him to have lunch with you. Naruto said. Don't call me that or Sasuke that. God, you're such a brat, Sakura shouted. Why am I a brat? Is it because I don't respect you or the team? You know what, I don't care what you think. I'll be going now, Naruto said. Kami, why does Hinata hang with someone with you? Sakura asked hotly. Maybe it's because she's not as shallow as you are. Naruto answered. I'm not shallow, Sakura shouted. So you say, but I know how the real you act, and if that isn't being shallow, then I don't know what is. Naruto said. Uzumaki, a voice shouted. Naruto turned to see two instructors charging at him. Time to go, Naruto said and took off with the ninja trailing behind him. Sakura was now feeling worse than before. She did not enjoy what Naruto said to her. It was just as worst as what Sasuke said. She was not a shallow person. She huffed and began to eat her lunch. She hoped that the instructors gave Naruto a few licks. Kakashi entered the academy to go get his team. He stayed a little longer to look at the painting that was on the front of the academy. It was a really nice painting of one of his students with his foot on his other student's back. Some people did not appreciate it, but it was a work of art. He continued on to the classroom where they would be. As he entered, he was rewarded with an interesting sight. Sasuke was staring into nothing while Sakura just swooned over him. Naruto was tied to a chair that was held off the ground with ninja wire. He was tied with chains rather than rope. Kakashi thought that the instructors went a little too far with the mask. He got their attention and they turned to him. My first impression of you guys is, you're all idiots. That will be it for this video. If you want more, comment down below, like, subscribe, and see you guys later.